this episode of the podcast. And this episode is called The Basic Mechanics. And it is we work with 𝗘𝗽𝗶𝗀𝗿, who records these for us and then edits them and makes them live for us. And then we do all the marketing ourselves. But 𝗘𝗽𝗶𝗀𝗿, the owner, she said, I really think I want to hear more about how does this work and the mechanics. So this episode is about how to do this. But first, I really want to bring you up to speed in everything that is happening in the office because there's huge transformations. We're really dialing in now to everything we're trying to do here. We're building a creative culture. We're rebuilding our services around creativity. And then we're starting today, officially, to launch our creative programs for professionals. And so to catch you up a little bit on what's happened. So we have our new largest client. And I say that because we had retraction on our largest client, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But our new largest client is in they sell creativity. And our clients for many years have been manufacturers, and they are a manufacturer, installer of glass products. And they do these extremely high-end commercial installations of glass floors, glass walls, glass architecture, and it's glass block, it's glass brick. They have privacy windows. They do vault lights. So if you're walking across a subway and there'll be all these lights, they bring, not a subway, but they do subway lighting too. But it's underneath, subterranean. And you're walking across a sidewalk in New York and you'll see all these like round circles or square circles. They're bringing light into the natural light into the subterranean below. And so those are called sidewalk vaults, and they do all that. So it's all these applications of glass products. And then they can do these amazing, beautiful privacy windows for like your bathroom. And then they also have different types of blocks that you can see out, but people can't see in. And so there's all kinds of things that they can do. And then they also have the only hurricane rated glass block. They have tornado rated, and they have blast rated, and they have bullet rated. So you could actually have light into your safe room or your bunker, whatever you're developing, or you could actually put up some like seawalls, so to protect you in event of, some, wind protection from hurricanes. There's all kinds of things you can do. But their goal is, so they're selling creativity, which is their goal is to inspire their clients, the potential clients, potential customers, to come up with a creative project, a creative application for their projects to use either in a home or a big commercial installation. And the way they use their products, and, you can go on their website, they have two websites. Well, they have 4 brands, 4 companies, and we're managing all of the websites, but there's GBA Products, and they do the large commercial installations. So they do glass flooring where, you could be on a rooftop and you could see the rooftop. From the rooftop, there'll be a glass floor and you can see everything underneath. They put in in the middle of your dining room, there can be glass flooring so you can see the cellar below. There's all kinds of innovative. They do glass balconies, which hang over pools. They do glass decks, which can be over your pool. So there's all these inspired applications. So what we're doing is their marketing managers they're relatively new marketing managers. I mean, they've got maybe somewhere between 4 years experience, 5 years experience, and they know the products really well. They're really good brand managers, but their marketing could be more inspirational. So what we're doing is working with them. They're the first candidates for our program. The marketing managers are coming in this afternoon, and we're going to start our creative training with them. And so it's a way to build their way of looking at everything that they're doing. They manage their social media. They manage a lot of their branding and their brand voice. We manage their websites, and we elevate where they need it. So we'll elevate their designs. We'll elevate their language. We'll elevate their copy. So what we're doing is developing this creative collaboration where we're teaching them brainstorming. We're teaching them how to do this, how to come up with more ideas, and then really take the lead in being inspirational. And the very cool thing is, so our goal is always to develop marketing, whether it be ads, whether it be socials, whether it be everything that just touches the soul. It connects with the soul. It uplifts you. It's inspirational, and it gets you in thinking about creativity, gets you, the audience, like connecting with the creativity. So our goal is to take all of this and apply it to their marketing, to teach their marketing managers that this is the new standard. There's a creative standard to what we're doing, and that they are just really dialing into it, dialing into creativity, dialing into how to get more, idea flow, how they can take everything they're doing to the next level, and then attract an audience that can really use their products, and then new inspirational applications. We find a way to get great photography of that, and it becomes a self-fulfilling cycle. So that's it. And then one of the very cool things that we just did was their one business just sells the glass block and the glass block applications, hurricane resistant, tornado resistant, insulated, things like that. And we just got them to #1 under glass blocks. So that's one of our core lanes. Our core lanes are creative services, elevated design, creative campaigns, and then SEO and search engine optimization, getting people to #1 on the search engines. And it was a tough go because the search engines for glass block are dominated by Home Depot and Lowe's and Amazon and all these places that you can buy it. But we were able to get them to #1. And it's been huge for their business. And now what we need to do is build that following, build those audiences, build the people that are following through this really inspirational marketing. So it's our first time doing this with professional development. And it made sense to start with marketing managers. One, it helps boost our relationship with our clients, build our business, add value. But it also, we know marketing better than anybody else. So we can talk to marketing managers, and it just makes sense for us to teach them how to be more creative collaborators on projects, how to get them more involved and engaged, and see how they can contribute to the growth of their brands, the growth of their products, and brand recognition, in addition to the search engines work that we're doing. So it worked out really great. The other thing that happened at the same time was after one of my last episodes, we were talking about the tuning forks. And one of the greatest tuning forks is water. So, and fire, and, we have candles and things like that around us. So, the water. And, the day after I recorded the podcasts, my mentee came in, and she owns a yoga studio in Cleveland, and it's just a beautiful soul. I'm going to have her on the show. And, I was talking about the episodes that I just recorded, and that we were talking about tuning forks, that you can tune your vibration, you can connect with more creativity, and you can, really get the flow of ideas and inspiration. And I said, like water. And we were in our conference room, and there's a beautiful pond right behind us. And the developer of the office complex where we are, he really planned this out to be this beautiful, inspirational space. Like everything about it is just inspires creativity. It was the perfect location for us. And we had just So that was like 2 weeks ago. And our lease was ending for that location Sunday, the 31st. So we were moving out, and it just happened that same day that the office, like across the hall, that also faces this beautiful pond. The owner is somebody we do our web development collaboration with. And he's like, I really want to sell this. Are you interested in buying it? And, I'm like, oh, we need the water for our creative training. We don't want to give up. We needed to give up this office space. It just didn't have the right energy. It didn't have the right function and flow. It didn't make sense to us. And we were paying a lot for our lease, and it didn't make sense. And so buying the perfect unit across from the pond, it's probably it has the right energy, it has everything we need, and it's the perfect space for our creative training. So we're like, we're doing it. So we made the decision yesterday, we're doing it. We have our first creative. He moved out last night. Our gear is all of our furniture and everything is sitting in the hallway waiting to move into this office this morning. We're going to get it as good as we can. I won't, but we'll keep elevating the vibration of this space. But we're doing our first creative training with these marketing managers this afternoon. And it is so exciting because it's like everything just flows. Everything just gets into sync. Everything works out exactly how it should work out. And you're like, and all of my team is like, yeah, this is a really creative space. We really need this space. And so we, pulled the trigger on it yesterday. It was a no-brainer. It made so much sense to us. So, that was a huge shift in saying we're going to be very, very intentional about what we're doing with our business. We're going to be very intentional about the clients that we're taking on, the type of work that we're taking on. We're going to be, this is what we want to do. This is how we want to do it. So coming back to our largest client, our relationship is changing. So what happened is we had an account manager who brought this, brought on the contract for our largest client. And he ended up going to work for them, the client. Now, that's in violation of both our client contract and his employment contract. But we still had 5 months on the contract. And the way it's written is if the contract changes, that we can personally go after you for it. But the contract didn't change. They finished out their contract, which just ends in 2 weeks. And, we're like, what are we going to do? This, for someone to do that, one, that feels out of line with our ethics. And two, it's like, do we really want this client? This client is a lot, and they don't really fit because we were agency of record and we were doing all these generalist things that don't really fit with our new business model of being really specialized in elevated creative work, creative campaigns, and SEO. And under the creative campaigns comes social media. But a lot of our clients want to manage their own social media. We just bring in those campaigns that drive more visibility. So we're like, oh, do we really want this? Well, it just happened that he, really, the goal was that he would go there and he would build his own marketing team, that they didn't need us for everything. And we're like, that works out perfectly well with us because we don't want to do everything anymore. So instead of being upset about the engagement retracting, we're just really leaning into, and that's what you get when you start to live in this space, that it's like, this is being done not to me, but this is being done for me. What's the opportunity? What's the gift here? What's the blessing? What can I learn from this? And it's like, well, this helps us get to where we want to go. We knew this was coming. That was part of our reorganization at the beginning of the year. We reorganized our overhead. We, we left our lease, our expensive lease. We moved to a much smaller location, even though we needed this creative brainstorming, this creative development space, which we have now. Everything just kind of fell into place. We changed, some of our relationship with our employees to contractors to, did a number of things where we're in a financial position that we can make all these changes, and that we are not dependent on re-engaging with this client in a way that no longer fits us or suits us. So we're in a financial position to be able to do this, as well as have it align with where we want to go and what we want to do. So I have that call with him this morning of really finalizing what that relationship will look like. But it's huge. It's a huge cut in the relationship, but at the end of the day, it's the best thing for us. And that's what really this program is all about. It's like not dwelling on the negative, not like, oh my gosh, this employee took our client, blah, 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 blah. You know, that's not where we live, and it's not where we go. And it's more about, how does this align with where we want to go? What's our bigger vision? What's our path? What's our purpose? Let's lean into that. Let's focus on that. How does this, even though it appears to be negative, how does this get us there? So, and all of a sudden everything lights up, and then you have ideas and you're like, okay, this is how I see it aligns. This is what we can do with it. Okay, this is where we're going. This is what's happening. So it's a wonderful, wonderful world to live in, because everything that gets thrown at you, you're not only like just, taking that hit. You're kind of catching the ball and you're throwing it back, but you're throwing it back way further into like, hey, this is going to get me over there. And it's such a positive world to live in. And so, your whole team, your whole staff isn't like griping, oh my gosh, I can't believe this person did this to us. And you're like, no, this is really a gift. This is really where we want to go and what we want to do. And, just saying this just affirms that this is the right thing. Everything we're doing right now is the right thing. And so that's the mechanics, is that it's the ability to take everything that comes in that creates a negative feeling, that throws you off, that is off kilter. You're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to deal with this now, or I'm going to have to, I'm going to have trouble paying my bills, or I'm going to have, and then coming up with creative solutions to one, short-term and long-term. And so everything that gets thrown at you, you immediately flip into brainstorming. You immediately flip into, ideas. Like, what are the ideas? So as soon as that negative comes at you, as soon as you start feeling those negative feelings, just take that space, take a breath, take a walk, take a shower. Again, water is a great medium. Sit by a pool, sit by a pond, light a candle, create a fire, all the earth elements, take your shoes off, get grounded into the earth, and just start making the list of things that you can do to flip this into a positive. Okay, so if we're not going to have this revenue, we need to cut our overhead by XYZ. What are all the things I can do to cut my overhead? And even things that seem impossible, like you're in a lease. Well, what if I try to get someone to sublease it? Or what can I renegotiate here? Or can I sell something? Or what can I do temporarily to get the cash I need to, be able to survive? But then how can this be a gift? What is my purpose? Where am I going? What's my path? What does that ultimate thing look like? And how can this I'm being given this gift of freedom of time to explore what I need to explore, to do what I need to do. If I just stayed and I dwelled on the negative and, lived in the misery of, hey, this is being done to me, instead of, hey, this is my gift, this is being done for me, that I can start outlining what are those next steps. Okay, I've been given the gift of time, and that the gift of time is the absolute most precious thing that we have. And I have a friend that gave up TV like 6 months ago, and she is like dynamic, she's writing, she's reading, she's focusing, she's doing everything. And when you start to look at those things, that yes, we do need downtime, but are those things robbing us from something that would be precious? Or, when can we start doing the things that we need to get to where we need to go? And is social media, like time on your phone, time on the screen time, things like that? Are they robbing you from where you really need to be, where you need to go? So even if your brainstorming is just steps, like this is an idea for the next step, and this is the idea for the next step, and this is the idea for the next step, and this is the idea for the next step. And then there are things that you can do. You can align yourself with positive people. You can align yourself with those people that are saying, that's done. We're not going to talk about it anymore. We're going to really focus in on the gift of time that you've been given by this happening. And where are you going to take that? What are you going to do with it? Where is your greatness going to come from? And where are you going with that? And the brainstorming is just a tool to access that wisdom, that higher ideas, that source of inspiration of all the hundreds of thousands of ways that you could do this to get to where you want to go. And so again, everything aligns with your passions. So whatever it is that makes your heart just light up, it makes you tingle, it makes you sing. It could be producing music, it could be producing art, it could be creating in a way of creating and growing a business. It could be helping people. It could be working with children. It could be working with animals. There's an alignment there. And then you're looking at, what is that passion? Could be what, part of my business is, which is helping entrepreneurs grow, and whether it's an entrepreneur that built a $4 million, a $50 million, $200 million, or an entrepreneur that's just starting out that we're mentoring, that my goal is to help people be more successful with their businesses. And my goal is to do this really inspirational marketing that just touches your soul. So I figured out what mine is, but yours is what ignites you, what ignites your soul, what ignites your passions. And then if you lived in a world like that every day, what would that look like and how would it feel? And to start to even just work on the feelings, like how would it feel to get alignment with this passion and this path and where you've come from and the things that have happened to you in your lifetime that have kind of steered you, but these are all things that have been done for you to get you to where you're going to go. So it's trying to figure out that alignment, and you will. The more time you spend in this space, the more time you'll get out of it. So the whole idea is to get out of your head. And getting out of your head is really easy in the fact that you understand that it is your thoughts that create your feelings. Your thoughts create a chemical reaction within your body that's going to make you feel anger, fear, love, dopamine, good feelings, anxiety, scared, those are all chemical reactions. The brain triggers as a thought, it triggers it, it gives a chemical reaction. And all those chemical reactions can either escalate, you start thinking about all the possibilities, all the things that can go wrong, and it just escalates into what would be the highest, which would be a panic attack, and it just feeding off of itself. Or you can trip it up. And you can trip it up by just one saying, oh, that's a weird feeling. I don't like that. And you look for the next thought. Or you can trip it up by, you have 68,000 thoughts a day, and that ranges between 60 and 70,000 for a normal human being. And you just look for the next thought, and you look for a good thought, or you listen to something that connects with your soul, like music. Listen to your de-escalation music. Go take a walk, do something that's going to disrupt that negative feeling. For me and for the people I work with, it's ideas. Okay, I don't like this triggered fear. What are all the ideas I'm going to write down that are going to put me back into the positive space? Getting into that space of the creative flow, getting into that space out of your head, recognizing when you're having a feeling that you don't want to have. What happens is it starts to rewire your brain. You develop new neural pathways that deal with things that would normally typically create intense feelings. Your worry, your anxiety, your fear, grief, how you handle grief, how you handle loss, how you handle everything. It just starts to not have that weight over you. And if you're somebody that has a tendency towards depression, what they found is when you start to do this type of work, that your lows aren't as low, and then they're not as low, and they're not as low, and not as low. And you can very easily, reset your brain to be in this really positive world. Now, there are chemicals in our body that build weight and heaviness on us. There are. So, like PMS is a real thing, and it feels heavy, and it triggers more anger, and it triggers this heaviness and this weight. But you can reset it. You can find those things, whether it be a walk or a run or a shower or things, music, and, always have music around you, always be lifted up, always be connected, always be in that vibration. You can pull yourself out of it. I know it's very heavy. And I know with like depression that is a chemical reaction within your body, but you can slowly rewire to go to the positive, to be in this place and I call it the clear thinking channel. And all my programs are about maximizing what you can get out of the clear thinking channel, is the space where you're not in your head. It's the space where you're connected to source, you're connected to this infinite ideas, and you're connected to your true self, and you're connected to everybody else's true self. And it's this really special place, and there are no feelings there except this natural buoyancy, this natural state of naturally happy, just like you were when you were a kid. You're playing, you're creative, you're in this happy space before the weight of the world got just down on your shoulders. You're back to your normal child buoyancy state. And it just allows you to reset and to get back to connect to who you really are, your true nature, what you're made of, your true essence. This is your soul. This is what you come into this world with. This is what you leave this world with. And depending on your belief system, you might come back again. You may not. You may go to heaven. It just depends on that. And the source is whatever source you believe it to be. It could be aliens, it could be God, it could be chi, it could be the universe, it could be nature. The source is whatever. It's a higher intelligence that really has all these ideas. It has your well-being. It has this source wants you to be successful. The source wants you to be your natural self, which is happy, buoyant, playful, fearless, all the courage in the world. In this space, there is no no's. There's no, it could never happen. Everything is a possibility and opportunity. And it's about flipping and leaning into that. And then what happens is the more time, and I'm trying to show this through this podcast, through this journey with my business, through this journey with my company, that you start to have these amazing, amazing synchronicities, and everything you need just starts to appear right in front of you. Everything that you should do, everything opportunity just starts to open up for you, and it becomes incredibly powerful. And so the two programs that I want to start with are, one, this professional development program. I really want leadership to understand this and then be able to bring this in through organizations. So firefighting, drama, finger pointing, witch hunts, what happened, all turns into, instead of this negative weighted work environment, that everybody lives in this place of possibility and opportunity. And everybody's like, oh my gosh, something went wrong. It's time for a brainstorm. Let's figure out how we can figure out our processes, our standard operating processes. Let's figure out how we can transform this into something great and have everybody feel good, even in the most negative situations, have everybody feel good and get engaged and just be part of the solution and feel like they're impacting everything that happens within that organization. So it's a new way of operating for leadership. And everything is top down. It has to start with the owners. It has to start with the C-suite. And I really believe that marketing can impact that. And then I want to start with all types of demographics. So I want to do this for seniors. You don't have to live under the weight of aging. I have a whole solution for the weight of aging. You don't have to live under this place of loneliness and all the things that afflict aging people. Like, that doesn't have to be that way. And so, because 90% of it is mental, you believe you're alone, you believe you're isolated, you kind of are preferring that because it's safe, but it's like how to break out of that, how to get beyond that, how to build communities, how to build people around you. And when you really understand this, the clear thinking channel where you can connect with everything, that those connections are amazing, and that how to connect with people, how to give back your value, how to add value to society after you feel like you can't anymore, then how opportunities to do that. For children, I really want children to understand the potential of creativity. That creativity is not just art and music and dance. It very much is, but it's also ideas, and that the ideas that you can be or do anything, that you feel like you're drawn to it. And that creative light isn't shut down when your drawings aren't perfectly real to, lifelike. When your music, you're making music, you're singing, your heart is singing, all these things, you're dancing, it doesn't have to be perfect. For some reason, we believe that if we're not instantly perfect, that it's not for us, or we're not aligned with it, it's not for us. And the same thing with education, with the ability to be good at math or English. It may just be that you have to work harder because of the way your brain is wired. But once you give up the not being fair, once you give up the idea that I may have to work harder, and again, go back and listen to Jessie's episode. She had the hardest road of anything, and she just matched with her number one matched as an emergency medicine doctor. And, there is, for some kid that thought she was not smart at all, you just have to help see that the barriers or the obstacles aren't really obstacles, that there is a way to do this. And what you believe about yourself isn't true. And so the impact is to take our children and just let them know that there's this great resource. There's this great place called the creative flow. It's non-judgment of yourself. It's non-judgment of others. And it's non-judgment of ideas. And that the idea is that you're just constantly tapped into ideas, lots and lots of ideas. And we can all do this. And we can unlock our potential. And everybody has this tremendous potential in their lifetime. And we are not what we see. We are not our skin. We are not our colors. We are not our disabilities. We are not our culture. We are not our upbringing. We are not the tone of our language. We are not the accent, the heavy accent that we might bring that isolates us, that makes us feel like we're less than. We're all at a core exactly the same. We're all this true nature, this creative nature. And when we start to see our unity and we start to connect through our unity, that this world is going to change. And that everything that is bad in this world is going to be converted to something that's good, and that everybody can have an impact in this by just starting to really understand their true nature and see the true nature in everybody else and see the greatness in everybody else. And so that's the mechanics of it. It's just really look for the next thought, understand that your thoughts created your feelings. It's not something outside of you. It's not someone outside of you. That person is going through their stuff, but that's not your stuff. And you to hold them in a place of greatness, you to hold them and see and address their authentic self, not the insecurity, not the drama, not the intense feelings they're throwing at you, but to really hold their soul and say, I see the beautiful person inside. I can see your struggle, and I'm holding you in the greatest light. So the ability to do that, it just makes all the nonsense disappear. There will be no more reality TV. So this is a note from our sponsor, me, and my business, Advent Creative. And our featured client this week, they build industrial loading rams. And so if you're struggling with capacity at your dock, your loading dock, and you want to speed up loading and unloading, they have all kinds of innovative ramps that raise and lower faster, and they go from the ground to the dock, or they go from the dock to a truck, and you can just move a lot more freight and with a lot fewer people. So they also offer moving ramps that last 3 times longer than the old traditional fiberglass ramps. So go to 𝗘𝗽𝗶𝘀.com and support our client, who supports us, who supports this mission of bringing these programs to the world and making the world a better place. Thank you. So that's today's lesson, and I'm really excited about everything that's going to happen today, and I'm really excited everything that's going to happen with us and our creative culture and the way we're supporting it as a role model business. And stay tuned for the next episode. And to learn more, go to Creativity Unleashed, or go to I don't even know where to go. I forgot. Okay. To learn more, go to underdogscreate.com.